Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Brad and this is TrailRecon. And on this series of videos, my two teenage sons and I have been taking a 1999 Jeep Cherokee Sport and turning it into an overland rig that they can use when we go out on the trail. It's been a really exciting build so far, and I just love spending my time with my boys in the garage. We're just having a great time. On this episode, we're gonna hit the headliner and show you how that went. But before I do that, let me make sure you stick around until the end of the video, where we're gonna update you on the budget and let you know what's coming up in the future. Now, to be honest, I've had a couple people say, Brad, what's going on with the Cherokee build? Where you been, man? And the truth is, guys, time and money, it's a little bit of a commodity which we have been a little bit short on, but I plan on doing more updates, at least weekly. We're gonna try this YouTube live stuff and maybe bring you kind of updates. That'll be quick and easy for me to do. And then we'll keep building you these build series videos right here like we're doing right now. Now, regarding this headliner, guys, I've never installed a headliner before, and I don't claim to be some kind of guru. My son was awesome, man. He went and looked online and did some research and prepared for this whole thing. So we just really wanted to share with you how that install went, show you some things that went well, show you some things that maybe we can improve on in the future, and maybe that will help you if you're looking to replace your headliner on your Jeep Cherokee. Now, let me show you how it went. Now, as you can see, we don't even have a headliner. All there is this backing board with some very nasty foam that has been falling down and getting all over everything. So it's gonna be a really nice upgrade for this interior. The first thing we did was pull off the grab handles, and all you need to do is pop off the plastic ends and then remove the two T25 Torx bit screws holding them in, and they just pop right off. There are a lot of screws up and down the sides of the plastic molding, but before you can take them off, you got to remember righty tighty, lefty loosey. Yeah, we had to explain that one again. And a good lesson we learned after we got ready to install everything back was keep track of the screws, because guess what? They're not all the same, and we just started pulling things out and weren't really paying attention. If we were going to do it all over again, we definitely would have labeled all the screws and where they went just to save us a little extra time. Pulling the sun visors down is pretty straightforward. There's just 3 screws holding it on the one side. Now, there is a wire that runs through there if you have the vanity lights like we do, although ours aren't working. But just unclip that and that'll pop right off, and then make sure you take the ends off for where the sun visor clips in. You know, I think we may upgrade the fabric on the sun visors in the future just to match the new headliner. The rear molding had several screws that needed to come out, but it also had these 2 clips that we didn't realize it had, and we ended up busting both of those. But thankfully, when we reinstalled everything, it didn't matter. Everything fit nice and snug, so it wasn't really a big deal. You do have to remove the rear seatbelt upper brackets, and those are held on with a T50 Torx bit. You do have to remove the front and rear lamps. Now, the rear lamp just pulls straight out, and there's just a little wire there that unplugs. But the front lamp has 2 little screws that hold it up in there, so you got to remove those 2 screws, and then the whole unit itself, you just kind of push it forward and then it pulls right down, and then there's 2 plugs in there that you just undo, and then it comes off really nice and easy. Our rear speaker covers just popped right off, and then there were just 2 Phillips screws holding both of them in. These speakers are old and they really sound terrible, so we're really looking forward to upgrading these so we can, play some good tunes when we're out on the trail. On the front molding, we found we only needed to remove the top screw, and this gave us just enough room to remove the headliner. Now, the headliner is durable, but you can break it, so having 2 sets of hands really makes it easy to take it out of there in one piece. So now that we got her out all ready to clean up, we're really excited to get all this nasty stuff off. Now, we tried using a spatula to scrape it off, but we found that using a couple wire brushes was the most effective and fastest method of doing it. Now, I know I said it before, but this stuff is just nasty. It kept gumming up the brushes. We had to get out the vacuum and keep it cleaning as we were going because it was just terrible. It was all over everything. And I'm just gonna say, I think Dad did a little more scraping than the son did. And we purchased a 3M adhesive spray that we used for both the backing board and for spraying on the fabric itself. We ended up using the entire can during this install. We did give it a few minutes to get tacky before we set it on there, and having two sets of hands to kind of lay things tight and smooth it out was really helpful. We did end up with a couple wrinkles, especially around where the speakers were, but it wasn't too bad. We're pretty happy with it, and it did get a little toxic in there, so opening the garage door was helpful. We should have done that early on. You know, this was done by a couple amateurs, but we're pretty happy with the product that we produced. There was a little bit of a wrinkle around the speakers, but the molding's going to cover most of this up. We trimmed off all the excess and cut access for all the holes in the screws, and then we were ready for the install. There's really nothing special involved with reinstalling it. You just do everything in the opposite that you did when you're taking it out. Lining up some of the screw holes was a challenge, but in the end it all turned out really nice, and it did not take long. And man, this was such a nice do-it-yourself project, and I'm really proud of my son. It is so nice to have that headliner done and all that nasty foam out of there. I mean, that stuff was just gross. You drive down the road with the windows down and that stuff was just pouring all over the place. And it looks so much better than it did. And to be honest with you, I know it's not a very exciting install, but my son and I, we had just so much fun doing that and working in the garage. And really, honestly, that's really what this project is about, is to get in there and do some work and teach them some stuff for a fun build that we're going to take out on the trail eventually. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, let me tell you where we're at on the budget. Let me grab my notes here. We were at $7,841 before today. About 3 yards of that foam-backed headliner material, and that was $62. The adhesive was $17. And then I finally got this thing and got an alignment because it was really way off, and that was $89. So our new grand total on this build so far is $8,009. Couldn't be happier with where we're at. I can't wait until we get some more of this stuff knocked out and we can really get it out there and run it through its paces. Now, in the next couple videos, we're going to be doing an exhaust, because I remember last video I asked you XJ owners what exhaust we're using, and I got a ton of responses. Well, MagnaFlow saw that video, and man, they hooked us up with an exhaust that we're going to do a review and install for. I'm really excited to share that with you. That was very humbling that they reached out to us, a great American organization. And the other thing we're going to be doing very soon is fenders. We've got a little bit of rub when we're at flex and turning the wheels, so it's time to cut those fender wells, and we're going to install some flat fenders on there, so we'll be sharing that with you. And hey guys, we've got decals over on our website. Please go over there, pick up a decal, and help support TrailRecon and the build and everything we're doing here. We really appreciate it. And if you're visiting this channel for the first time, man, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a member of the TrailRecon team. And until next time, guys, we'll see you out on the trail.